It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome, by the way, to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission at the end of the day is to provide you, that's right, you, the hardworking entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you would call to serve. In this episode, we have the one and only Julian. He's in the building, and he'll be talking about what's your turning point. Where do we go from here? I can't wait to find out. What's going on, Julian? How are you doing today?
Hi, Shay. I'm doing great. And first and foremost, thank you for having me on your show. But I'm doing wonderful.
Great. I'm glad you're doing wonderful. And, if it's okay, I'd like to just jump right into it because when people say, what's your turning point? The top of mind, anyone's first question, at least mine is, when you say turning point, what does that mean in one's life?
Oh, wow. Turning points. When you say what's your turning point, turning
Mm-hmm.
points can start from when you was a child all the way up until when you're an adult. Those are those moments that define and shape who we are as a business person, as a son, as a mother, father. You have several of turning points that come within your life, and so I decided to write about those turning points in my life and be able to share it with others so others can recognize their own turning points. And then sometimes we get stuck at our turning points and we go in the wrong direction. And then sometimes we land in the right direction. But recognizing those turning points is very important. And I've had several. I went in the wrong direction and I went in the right direction. So I decided to write about some of those and share it with and help others.
Well said, by the way. Can you take us back to one of those moments that just changed everything for you? And what helped you really to turn things around?
Oh wow! I would have to start, and I've watched your show several times, by the way. And a common theme I've heard on your show is grief. That's been a
Mm.
common thing I heard with a lot of your guests, and grief was one of those turning points in my life recently. Over a period of time, I was raised by a single mother, and I write about this in the book as well. And my uncle stepped in and helped out. And so there was a period after I retired from the military, after 20 years, by the way, I stepped out into freshly retired from the military to dealing with losing both of my uncles within a few years apart. And then I lost my mother, and then I lost my brother a year after losing my mother. So those were significant turning points in my life. And I was lost. I lost, when I get off from work, when I was in the military, the first person I would call would be my mom. I would get on the phone with my mom. Hey, mom, how you doing? What's the local news? Get off the phone with my mom. I would call my uncles, and then I found myself not, being able to call either one of them. So I was lost, and I had to redefine myself. So that was a big turning point in my life, and I know we all go through them sometimes, but sometimes we just don't know the right route to take to be able to deal with them. And so what I found out during my me being lost and just not knowing which way to turn, I found out ways that helped me get through that time. And and I share a lot of those in my book. Anywhere, anything from figuring out ways that you honor them, you honor your loved ones that you lost. Um, what you gonna do? You're gonna travel, or you gonna sit there and grieve to death, or you gonna travel and try to go see the world and honor them. So I chose to to honor them in everything that I do. I try to honor them, and that helped me, and it's got me in a real. I'm in the best mental space in my life, so it really helped me out.
Very, very powerful. And I know that you're a man of faith, and I'm going to ask in a moment what part of faith really helped you during this journey, and how can others lean on their faith? And if you're watching right now, I happen to be a Christian. If you're not, you're going to still be able to benefit from this segment, no matter who you believe in. But directly to you, what part did faith really play for you, and how can others lean on their faith when they're going through tough times to keep on going?
That's a great question. I would have to, when we talk about turning points, and in my book, I talk about this. It started with me. I was a baby. Shay, I jumped out of my cousin's arm into a river, and they had to do CPR on me to bring me back. So I don't remember that, but I was always told about that. And then years later, as a young man, I was baptized in that same river that I almost lost my life in. And so I knew then, just hearing the story of what happened, I just felt like God favor was always within me and on me. And so when we talk about dealing with something like that with faith, I had faith growing up. And when I lost my loved ones, I leaned on my faith heavily, obviously. But I was with my mom when she took her last breath. And all the way up until I watched her suffer, she started going down, and she her faith never ever wavered. So when I was in a room when she took her last breath, I didn't panic, because I seen faith acted out real time with it, with my mom, somebody that had my cord attached to them, display that faith. And so of course the faith definitely helped me get through those challenging times. And I was encouraged others to definitely lean on your faith. That will definitely help you get through it. But there's some things that you got to do as well, mentally. You have to have the desire to want to keep going and honoring them. I can't say that enough.
Well said. And one of the things is, I'm an entrepreneur. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that are watching. There's a lot of dualpreneurs who watch, who work a full time job and they're a full time entrepreneur. So I guess my question to you is, for an entrepreneur who's listening right now who might feel stuck, how do they know, or is there a way to know, are there signs to know they're at a turning point? What are some things they should look for? What are some signs that would tell them that?
Just number one, I would always say, some of the best advice someone ever gave me when I was in the military. They said, Julian, know what it is that you want, and line everything up that you do to gear it toward that, trying to accomplish that thing that is you want. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to look yourself in the mirror and know exactly what is it that I want. What is it that I want to accomplish as a entrepreneur? And every when you step out there on faith every day, and then you do things that line up to that. And so, in regards to your question about a turning point, so if you get to a place that's not in alignment with your purpose and your passion of being an entrepreneur, then you need to make a turning point to get you back into that direction that's in alignment what it is that you want to do. Because guess what? I call it this, Shay. When I wrote the book, a lot of people like, "Wow, you wrote a book," and I was like, "Yeah, I sure did." And I was a co-author of this book, and they was like, "Wow, who wrote it with you?" And I tell them the author is God, and I was the co-author, because I listened to
I
God, and
like
I
that. I like
and I
that. That's
turned
good. That's good. I
I
like that.
turned
Yeah.
to that calling. Further answer your question, not to get off the
No,
topic
go
of the
right ahead.
question,
I like
but
that.
in my career in the military, over the last 10 years of my career, I was equal opportunity advisor, which I help soldiers deal with, if they feel like they were discriminated against or they had issues in the workplace. I'm that person that's, in the middle of all that, between that soldier and the leadership. And one of the things that was consistent um, during that time is the fact that sometimes, we have a hard time looking through the lens of the other person. And that's one of the things that I was skilled at, is getting that leadership sometimes, or getting that person to be able to look through the lens of the other person. So you have to be able to look through the lens of other people. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you got to know, Shay. You got to know what that client is thinking. You got to not always think about what it is that you want, but you got to be cautious of what the other person wants as well.
I like that, and make sure you understand where they are and what they're going through as well. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. How did you? I mean, thanks one for serving in the military. Thanks for your service. We appreciate that. What was your path and journey like getting into the army? What's the backstory behind that?
Oh wow. So when I was in high school, I grew up in a very small town in Mississippi, and um, in my small town, the options that we had were limited. I Speaking of turning points for that entrepreneur, just want to know what that nudge is. It was some inside of me that always said, I want to join the military. In fact, my junior year of high school, me and one of my best friends, we had the same nickname. Our mothers had the same name. We were just divinely put together, and we decided to join the delayed entry program our junior year, meaning that you could go ahead and sign up, and then you won't leave to go to do your training until after you graduate high school. So we signed up, and when I got to be a senior, I became, before I became a senior, I became a father at 17 years old, and so that was a turning point that I recognized, and I said, "Wow, it's not meant for me to leave my child." My mom stepped in to help me and his mom raise him, and I said, "I can't leave him." So I did what everybody else did. I went to college. And so I got to college. I'm working three jobs, two, three jobs at a time, trying to do my schoolwork. I was passing, I was graduated with honors in high school. So the schoolwork wasn't the problem. It's just the commitment that I had to try to balance being a father, balance working and balance the schoolwork. And then I just decided that it got too much after 2 years in college. I went to Jackson State University there in
Yeah.
Mississippi. And
Cool.
I made Shay, barely made it 2 years, and I was burnt out. So again, speaking of turning points, I reached a turning point, and I was like, you know what? I am going to stick to what was in my gut in the beginning. And I talked to my mom about it. She was really happy for me, and I joined the military, and I haven't looked back since. So that's how I
Congratulations, by
started
the way.
my
Yeah.
military career. Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for serving
And
in the
so
army, man.
and the reason was it's just structure.
Yeah.
Um, for myself and me being a young father at the time, and I want to help my mom out too. So that's why I did it.
Ah, man, what a great son. You wrote the book Turning Point. What do you hope that someone does after reading the book? And how do you hope it changes the trajectory of their life?
Wow, when they read the book, they're gonna see my turning points that I had, and my prayer is that they will be able to recognize some turning points of their self for themselves. I talk to people all the time. I talk to kids all the time, and talking to kids and talking to people, they stuck on their turning points. They don't quite have the courage. I talk to business entrepreneurs as well. We're still talking about that business plan from 3 years ago and no movement. And so if they get anything out the book, I want them to give them courage to understand their turning points and I got this shirt that says every turning point requires movement. I want them to start when they put my book down. I want them to immediately start making movement on that. What Going to college, joining the military, starting this business plan. That's the goal. That's the goal from the book.
Yeah, and I know this is a loaded question. That's a great goal for them to have, by the way. But I'm curious, why do people say stuck with movement? I mean, again, I know it's philosophical, but from your view of the world, what holds people back from just taking action? What holds people back from being consistent on a daily basis? Again, a very loaded question, but what's your perspective on that?
That's actually a great question. I think in my experiences is the stuckness come from trying to fit a mold that everybody else did. And I got the idea and I got the belief that God gave all of us something to do. It's some for all of us, and everybody don't have to have the same path. I write about this in my book. Um, me and my best friend, um, I ended up going back into the military after we signed up for the delayed entry program, but he didn't. He went a different route. But at the end, now us as grown men, we're both successful. He's successful. He went down a different path that landed him to a successful career that he has now. He moved out to Arizona, and so I think what keeps people stuck is thinking that you got to go down the same path as everybody else did. That sometimes doesn't work. This may not be your what God has for you to do. You may have something different for you to do.
You seem to be enjoying what you're doing right now, and you can see it when you start talking about turning point and what they have to do. You can hear a change in your voice, like you get excited. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing now? It seems like it gives you joy and happiness.
It does. It's another level of healing for me. Dealing with grief, writing this book. You would ask me 10 years ago, was I going to be an author? I would have said no, because I heard it all the time. Just telling my story. Julian, you should write a book. You got an amazing story. You should write a book. And I was like, nah, that's not for me. I'm not an author. But when I started writing this book, I got so excited. I had to just cut it off, and because I had so much that I wanted to put into it, until the point to where, okay, this is enough, Julian. You need to just save this for another book, another topic. So what I'm doing now, I'm at peace. I'm excited about the book. I'm excited about promoting the book, and I really think it's going to change some people's life. That's what I'm more excited about. I really think, Shay, once you pick this book up, you're going to find something in here that's going to give you motivation to maybe to turn on a turning point that you may not have realized that you were stuck on. And that's what I'm excited about. Really excited about.
Well said. What does success look like for you these days? What does it feel like?
Oh man, I just said it. Success for me, you know, right now I'm in a good place mentally. I'm happy, and success is being able to help somebody else. And what that looks like is, when I first wrote this book, I had no idea, what it was going to do. I'm actually going to release it on Mother's Day, May the 10th, and to honor my mom. So I I decided to go online and say, hey, I'm gonna take pre-orders. And the support I got with the pre-orders just blew my mind. I was so grateful for so many people pre-ordering my book, until it led me down the path to say, hey, once I promote this book, anybody out there that's trying to do anything, I'm gonna try to support them, because that I just know how that made me feel. That made me feel very successful to have people all over the United States pre-ordering my book. Man, that meant a lot, and I just want to give that back to other people. It may be somebody that's trying to start a food catering business. I want to go to see what I could do to try to promote it and help them. That's what success kind of looks for me right now.
That's a really good place to be, by the way. As we're coming down the home stretch, every turning point matters. If you had to reach out to someone that's watching right now and say, as you're listening right now, if you're struggling, if you're going through something right now, and I know it's an old phrase, you're either in a storm, going through a storm, or headed to a storm. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do want you to talk to the person that's right there on the juncture. I showed up right now because not to be motivated, not to be encouraged, but I wanted to get a few words. If someone was stuck right now for where we are in the world, with all the chaos that's going on in the world, with the wars that's going on, gas prices going up, people being laid off, what's one thing? It's kind of fair, but what would you say to that person who's watching now to encourage them to at least take the first step, to at least start the movement?
Yeah, just I heard Kayla say this on your show. Number one, have gratitude. When I watched my mom take her last breath, which gave me a different level of gratitude. I had gratitude before, but I really have it now. When you go out and put your foot down and you get out your bed and you take a breath, have gratitude that you have an opportunity on that day and at that time to do whatever it is you want to do in life. And you need to connect with your author, and you become the co-author, and go into the don't go into it like you're just waiting for something to come down out the sky and just land in your lap without you moving your feet or doing anything. Go ahead and put it out there to your author, and you become the co-author, and you put one foot in front of the other, and you go out there and get everything that you want out of life. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. No matter what's going on around me, we watch the news. That can be very depressing, but it's real. But at the same time, I don't let any of that stop me from what I want to do. Like I said, I'm getting ready to write the second book now. Because I
Can't wait.
so
We got to have you back, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to write a second book.
yeah, I'm on the second book now because that's just how I look at it. I
Yeah.
got gratitude, and we got an opportunity. We got 24 hours in the day. Hey, let's go out there and get it. It's out there for us. So to that person, hey, you stuck. Hey, take a deep breath. If you wake up the next day, you got another opportunity to go out there and get whatever it is you want to get out of life, and go get it. It's there for all of us, no matter what's going on around us. It's irrelevant.
Well said, by the way. As we come down the home stretch, I'm curious, what do you do for fun? We're not out writing books. We're not helping people have their turning point. What does fun look like for you these days?
Oh, the biggest fun for me, number one, being a father. Man, I get a kick out of being a father. I was just yesterday. I was at the ballpark all day with my son playing, travel baseball, watching him, you know, do a walk off, hit a walk off home. So
Mm.
that's what that's what I get a kick out of. My daughter, they're in a lot of stuff, and so being a dad is what makes me happy. That's what I'm into, and traveling. I love to travel. I love to travel.
Okay, what do you enjoy most about traveling?
Just seeing something I haven't seen before. Seeing a different culture, eat some different food. So that's what I enjoy about traveling, learning something. Number one, being a student to other cultures. I've learned something from every time I travel, I'm learning something to add to my toolkit. So that's what traveling does for me, and for my kids too. I have an RV actually, and
Do you really?
we've been yeah, me and my kids been up and down the United States in the RV, just learning different stuff, showing them different stuff. So yeah, sure,
Oh man,
traveling
that's
is
that,
definitely
that,
number
that's
one.
that's really incredible. Let me say two things. One, shout out to Kaylin for connecting us together. What an amazing
Absolutely,
collaborator she is. So thank you so much.
yeah,
And number
yeah,
two, as we come down the home stretch, two-part question. Number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days, if any? And how can folks connect with you? How can I get the book? Is there a website? Like, what should they do?
yeah, absolutely. I'm open to speaking engagements. I'm open to anything that's going to help somebody. I'm keeping all of my options open, and I'm definitely going to be writing more books. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be continuing to do. That I found a passion about. As far as how you can connect with me, I kind of simplified it for you. It's JulianSlocum.com. That's JulianSlocum.com. You can, if you click on there, you'll be able to see all my social media profiles. Just one click, you can be on my Instagram, you can be on my TikTok, and also you can buy the book there. If you don't want to buy it on my website, you actually can go on Amazon May 10th. It will be out for you to buy. If you want to pre-order, you can go straight to my website, julianslocum.com. And if you want a T-shirt, I will have T-shirts on there. And my plan is to a different quote. I got some nice quotes in the book, and I'm gonna choose a different one regarding turning points every month, and I'll release it on my website. So that's how you can connect with me. Thank you.
Well, congratulations on your book, man. I know you got many more to come, but this one you have right now is impacting lives. So thanks so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to have you back again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
And thank you. Thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, because without you, we don't have a show. You have a lot of choices and you choose to be with us. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown, by the way. Make it a great day, everyone. And we'll make some good things how we connect again next time. God bless and keep doing God's work. We out of here. Peace. So long, Julian. Bye-bye.